Happy Sabbath, beloved friends and guests, brothers and sisters. Again this morning with you, your humble servant, GL, Jacques Lionel Guillaume for M3A Medical Missionary. This Sabbath, as I'm speaking with you right now, we're going to have a special message called Three Types of Pain. And you ought to know that this message is in preparation for a coming series that will start tonight, called A New World Order Broken Down in Pieces, Point by Point, and a National Sunday Law. Now, beloved, this series was announced to start the first of April. Okay, so what happened is that 10 or 12 trying days, I ended up being sick. I was really sick. I ended up going to the hospital with the ambulance, and as a matter of fact, I was not the one calling the ambulance. The neighbors called the ambulance when they saw me bent down on the ground. They called the ambulance, and by the grace of God, because all the signs, the symptoms pointed toward a stroke, but by the grace of God, it was not a stroke. It was food poisoning, and I have a system so strong that when I put something that I'm not used to put in my system, it reacts automatically. So that's what happens when sometimes you get invited to people's homes and you don't know not to accuse, not to point fingers, because sometimes people cope with love. They invite you with good intention, but sometimes you have reaction in your body. So I'm just happy that it was not a stroke. So just to say that. So I've been in bed since Thursday morning, so Thursday afternoon when I came out of the hospital. So by the grace of God, I am here with you today. Now, talking about our new series, a National Sunday Law and the New World Order Broken Down piece by piece, point by point. Beloved, you ought to know that you are going to hear a series. Forget everything you have heard in the past about a new world order. This time you're going to hear things, and it's not to glorify myself. It's not to put myself up on a pedestal. It's not that, beloved. You're going to hear things that will make you tremble. And this is why I want to prepare you with this message. This message is not really about the series itself, but if you follow the rationale behind the message, you will understand that you have a work to do. A very good work to do. So having said that, beloved, in prep for the message of today, in case you don't know yet, I would like to tell each one of you, some of you knows, some of you may not know, that in this world, in the face of this world that we're living now, you will not find anyone more messed up and jacked up than myself. And yet, I am a preacher of righteousness, and yet I have served in pastoral ministry for 2 years, pastoring 3 churches, and yet I have served as an evangelist for 10 years in South America, baptizing over 500 members. And yet there I come before you saying that I'm messed up and jacked up. You see, the problem is, beloved, Paul says it, 2 Corinthians 10 verse 12, or let me check to make sure. All right, 2 Corinthians, I believe it's chapter 12 verse 10, but we'll check just to make sure. I want to check. All right, Second Corinthians. Yes, it is. Second Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. Paul says, as we are not among those type of people who compare themselves by themselves, measuring themselves by themselves. In other words, what Paul is really saying is, if you look at your brother right there and you see the things he does, you're going to see yourself more righteous. If you measure yourself with what, according to your own measurement, you're going to see yourself more righteous than this brother and sister. And we all compare ourselves by ourselves, and we have stopped comparing ourselves with Jesus. That's why we see ourselves more righteous. We don't see how messed up and how jacked up we are. And that is why today in the church, we have no desire of getting rid of sin, of getting a termination with sin, because we think we are so self-righteous. We are so knowledgeable. How many people are there can say, just like I'm saying even now, that they are messed up and jacked up? And I've never been ashamed to say it, and I'm going to repeat it once again. You know why? Because none of you have neither no heaven or hell to put me in. When was the last time have you compared yourself with Jesus? As a matter of fact, testimony says the closer you come to Jesus, the more you're going to see your flaws. Let me see those who have that relationship with the Lord. I'm not saying this for nothing, beloved. It is in prep for the message of today. 3 types of pain. You see, the reason I'm really saying this in preparation for the message, not the message, but the coming series, a National Son de Law and the New World Order, broken down point by point, piece by piece. The reason I'm saying this is when I realize how messed up, jacked up I am, and then turn toward God and see the love he still give me. He loves me so much that he was willing to send and give his only begotten, literal, I will put the emphasis on literal son for me. That changes everything, beloved. It changes everything. You see, love begets love. And once you start loving, you stop being disobedient. How can I stand again in disobedience? You see, when I realize the price paid for me at Calvary, beloved, for a guy like me, a messed up, jacked up person like me, I can only go and share that love with others. But unfortunately, many people in our midst have put in their mind, in their brain, on the false pretenses that I have come only for the children of Israel. They will quote you, "It is not good to take our bread and cast it to the dogs." Not knowing that same person who said those words is the same person who anointed Paul and sent Paul to a ministry for the Gentiles. And it is that same person which is the Son of God. I hope you all know what I'm talking about, who says, go. He said, go, stop sitting among yourself, warming the bench among yourself, preaching to yourself, teaching to yourself, praying between yourselves, do everything among yourself. He says, go. Because you see, this gospel of the good news shall be preached unto all the world, and then the end will come. But how can this good news, how can the good news of the gospel be preached as a testimony unto all the world if you don't go? Romans 10:14. Romans 10:14. Or then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed, and all shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard, because there was nobody to go. They stay among themselves, they prayed, forgetting that the church is God appointed agencies for the lost souls and was organized for service. And all shall they believe in whom they have not heard, and all shall they hear without a preacher, and all shall they preach except they be sent. Go. You're going to see the relation where I'm going at when I'm with the title of the message today, 3 types of pain. Bear with me, beloved. Bear with me. Please bear with me. But before we start into this message, beloved, I would like to remind you that we are a self-support ministry, which means we support ourselves by ourselves. It is possible that some of you out there may want to give a donation of love. But beloved, the best way, and I'm going to stress and repeat this, the best way you can support us even now at this present time is to take the messages, especially the series, and share it. Make them go viral. Stop putting thumbs up. Thumbs up are just vitamin A for the ego of the preacher. It does not glorify God. Thumbs up does not make the gospel go forward. The best way you can support us as a self-support ministry is to take the message and go far with it. Let us have a word of prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, I stand in your presence asking you to touch every heart of the persons that will hear this message. Do not let me be seen or heard. Hide me behind that cross and add to your grace the unction of your grace, your love, and the forgiveness of my sins and the sins of the hearers. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Beloved, there are 3 types of pain. And I'm talking from the bottom of my heart. I have nothing prepared. I like to share from the bottom of my heart. 3 types of pain. First type of pain, self-inflicted pain. It is a pain that you inflict to your own self. Let me give you an example, beloved. In Brazil, there was a lady. She was on fire for the Lord. So much on fire for the Lord. She was active. She was burning. She was hot. During a year, 1 year alone, she brought 42 souls and got them baptized at the foot of the cross. Never in that church a person had gained 42 souls. I don't want to embarrass nobody. But 42 souls in 1 year. How many have you brought? How many souls have you brought at the foot of the cross? Because I know many self-support ministries, even here. But you see, this woman was so on fire. But one day, you know, the devil, when you active, you're a problem for the devil. So she fell out of grace. She fell out of grace, and it happens to the best of us. But she just couldn't bear it. Lack of forgiveness, she couldn't bear it. And she nourished the lack of forgiveness while knowing perfectly that there is a God willing, waiting, her arms open, wide open to forgive her. But she cherished, how can I fall? I have fallen, me. After I gained so many souls, I brought so many souls, what would people think of me? She has cherished it, instead of forgiving herself. The word of God says, if your conscience accuses you, God is greater than your conscience. And you know what happened? She ended up from neck down on a wheelchair, paraplegic. You see how far forgiveness, lack of forgiveness can bring you? Now, do you understand when we say that health, because this ministry is health and medical missionary. Health is not just the absence of disease, it's social health, emotional health, psychological health, physical health, spiritual health, matrimonial health, sexual health. Health is in about everything. And pretty soon, by the way, just open this door. Pretty soon, beloved, we are going to have some specific practical aspects, like how to make poultices, because in our series, New World Order Broken Down Point by Point, Piece by Piece, and the National Law, we're going to have one series about Big Pharma and Pharmakia. We're going to see all the beginning, where it's all start, and the aspect and the role, the major role it's playing in the New World Order. So that's why, beloved, in our ministry, we're going to have practical things, how to make poultices, how to heal, how to cook healthy. We're going to have every practical aspect. But first, we have to start by the spiritual aspect, for the reason that we don't want to make healthy sinners to go burn in hell. So let us continue. She inflicted herself what the pain she's dealing with today. Second type of pain. The pain inflicted by others. But before we consider the pain inflicted by others, there was another pain that stands in between the self-inflicted pain and the pain inflicted by others. It is the dart, the poisonous darts that life throws at you out of your control, just like I was 10 or 12 days MIA, missing in action, here in M3 Medical Missionary, out of my control. First, I had my account frozen by Facebook. Second, and I ended up being at the hospital. I was sick. It's a pain that life throws at you that you are a victim of. Let me give you an example. A man living with his dad went out for a night. Probably a supper at his friend's place. He went spending good time, but his dad was going through some terrible pain, terrible suffering. He was suffering in silence. He couldn't hold it anymore. He couldn't take it anymore. That night, the son came back home. He put the key in the switch. And as he opened the door, the house smelled funny. He says that smell is not normal. He flipped the light. He started walking down the corridor toward the kitchen. And as he's coming closer and closer, as he's arriving closer and closer to the kitchen, he starts seeing things on the walls that look like worms, red worms. But as he gets closer, he sees that these things does not look like red worms. They are not red worms. It looks like blood, veins, and the smell is getting stronger. He walks in the kitchen. He finds his father on the floor with a pistol, blood flowing out of his head. The father just took a pistol and blew his brain out. That's how much pain he had, how much pain he was suffering. And let me tell you, in this world that we are living, there are thousands of people going to stuff that you don't know nothing of. And it hurts me. And I've been trying to tell my brethren, stop, leave what you're doing, let's go. But for them, it's more important to stay within themselves. No evangelism. You will understand why I do evangelism after we share the 3 pains. At the funeral, the son was hysterical. They tried to give him advice. They tried to hold him because you almost had to put a chain in his arm and tied him up. That's how hysteric he was. But it was not the son's fault, because you see, the father blew his brain out, but in the process, he also blew the son's brain also, because everything you do to yourself will affect everyone around you who loves you. The son was a victim of life darts, poisonous dart thrown at him that he did not deserve. The father blew his brains out, but he blew the son's brain also. And oftentimes, beloved, when you are facing those kinds of pain, this is also when other people's, and especially the close friends, will inflict you pain. Because remember, this is the middle one. This is not the self-inflicted pain, neither the pain that others inflict to you, but it's the pain that's in between. All right? But and that pain that is in between, people will make your situation worse. Look at Job's situation. I'm going somewhere. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere. You're going to see why I'm doing this, why I'm sharing this message. Look at Job's situation. His 3 friends. His 3 friends were more of a pain to him than a relief for him. They run their mouth of things they didn't even know about. Oftentimes, your best friends, your own friends, will run them out because they see facts. not knowing the circumstances surrounding the facts. It's easy for them to talk. It's easy for them to judge. Just adding to your burdens. You see, there was a medical missionary man. He had a dream to build an orphanage for homeless kids. He once got that money. That was lifetime money that he gathered. He took his family. He moved in this country. He built an orphanage. He started to take care of orphans. And one day, he left his house. He left his wife and his children, and at the orphanage, he went in town to buy groceries for food. And as he left to go and buy grocery, a great storm came, and the whole house, true story by the way, true story, please pay attention, true story, and the house collapsed. Everybody died. Of course, he loved those children. That was his dream. But he lost his wife. He lost his own child. At the funeral, the Christian came. Don't put yourself in such a way. Don't put yourself in such pain. You know, we got Jesus. There's the great morning of resurrection. You know, those verses that roll well on the tongue. You know, the pastor came at the funeral. The man couldn't bear his pain. The pastor came at the funeral. He started to, my brother, at the last trumpet, the dead in Christ shall rise. And we that stay behind, we will take our flight in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. Be happy. Huh? But 1 year passed. The pastor's wife died. The elder came and started to say the same thing to the pastor. The church member went and started to try to console the pastor. This same man, this very same man, he went to see the pastor. He didn't say one word. He just hugged him in his heart. He says, now you understand. Stop running your mouth. Start running your mouth. There was another lady, true story, about the same thing. She lost his son. Everybody started giving her Bible verse. But there was one man, a wise man. He entered that place, just hugged her, and started to cry with her. Not a single Bible verse was. He just cried, and that lady says that was the best consolation she had received. Oftentimes, people can add to your pain. Even if they're quoting Bible verse, they're just going to add to your pain. They're going to add to your pain. And then they're wondering why their evangelism isn't right. While it says in the spirit of prophecy, Christ's method alone. And I'm tired to speak with the brethren. I'd rather take myself out of their midst. Christ's method alone. There was not 100 method. There's just one method. It's Christ's method alone that will bring true success to evangelism. So we got the self-inflicted pain, all right? We got the in-between, and now the other pain, the second pain, the pain inflicted by others. Max, and I will call him Max because this man is still serving time in jail, and I'm under obligation to keep certain things confidential as I work in one of the jail penitentiaries here. So even if I'm not part of the staff no more as in the chaplaincy at the penitentiary, I'm still obliged on the obligation to keep my mouth shut and not divulgate information. So we're gonna call him for that aspect Max. We're not gonna use his real name. Max is almost 300 pounds, built. We're talking about muscle. We're not talking about fat. Muscles. Is built like a fridge. If you see Max, you will be intimidated. Beloved, Max would come to the chapel every week. Max will come and talk to me. And throughout the times, I've come to be good friend with Max. I saw that we ought not to look by their outward appearance. He may look tough, big, but such a sweetheart, that Max. And one day, Max was in charge of the service because I was not the main chaplain. You have to understand, I was not the main chaplain. I was under the authority of another. And Max asked me, be present. Don't miss my sermon because I want you to help me after to teach me what should I do, what should I do to improve my preaching skill, because it would be Max's first time. After I have heard Max's sermon, I was in shock. 6 years and a half of theology. By then, I had over 20 years in the SDA church, Adventist church. And I've never heard something so powerful than Max's sermon, who was just the average guy, never been to a theological school, never took no theology classes. And after I've heard a sermon like that, I said, Max, what is a guy like you doing in here? That's when Max told me his story. He said, one Monday afternoon, I finished work way early, about 4 hours early. I went home. I found my wife in bed with a pure stranger. Before I knew what happened, I had handcuffs in both of my hands and I was charged with double murder because I have completely lost it. Max said, had I waited 5 minutes more or 5 seconds more, I would have never been incarcerated in jail. That's the pain inflicted by others. Treason. Where you put all your trust in someone, where you put all your love in someone, and that same person that you love, that you trust, is the one deceiving you. In that very aspect, Max loved this woman to death. He trusted her with his life. Although he did what he did, he said, I don't know if that can be pardoned. There are some certain things in life where you feel you can't pardon. And stop playing the holier than thou attitude. Unless you've been there, because I have been there myself. This is too much, God, I can't bear this. Jose Horas' mother. This Jose Horas is a great pastor in the United States. Well known. He's the mustache pastor. Go seek him on the internet. You will see his picture. One of his brother died. It took years because it was the gangs in LA. It took years, and one day it took years for his mother to forgive. His mother could not forgive. The pain, the hurt, the pain is there. And one day, his mother was happy, and he says, and Jose says, "What's going on, Mom? I don't see you. I haven't seen you that happy for years." And he says, "Today, the Lord gave me the strength to forgive that man. The pain inflicted by others can be hard. This is why I'm coming with you. A national Sunday law, a new world broken down piece by piece, point by point, a series starting tonight. This is where I'm coming with you. Beloved, when you consider which pain is the toughest, is the most hardest, most of you will see the pain inflicted by others. And you know what? I agree with you. I've been there myself, because most of the time the other pain and self-inflicted are due because of stupid chains of motion stupid event that I set in motion in my own life. But the pain inflicted by others to me in my life, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. And sometimes I said, God, I know my salvation depends on forgiveness. Forgives our debt like we forgive our debtors, but I can't. I'm hurt. Oftentimes, beloved, I said, God, please do this for me. I can't do it myself. Okay, God, I'm willing to forgive, but please allow him to feel a little pain first, so that he might understand, he might feel how I'm feeling. Let him feel the pain first. But I'm willing to forgive. Beloved, there are some certain pains that is unforgettable. And in your mind, it's unforgivable also. You want your antagonist to feel a little pain. What about this girl there who has a daughter raped, 14-year-old raped by a 50-year-old man, and all he gets is 2 years, while the life of his daughter is totally wrecked for the rest of it. All he gets is 2 years, minus good behavior in jail, minus that's reduction of sentence in the community. And what she says is, I should have taken care of that matter my own self and maybe take a gun and shoot him myself. The pain inflicted by others. But let me tell you something. You're going to see why I'm preaching that message, the National Sunday Law and the New World Order broken down in pieces, point by point. I'm going with you. I told you. Listen. Some pain inflicted by others. You mix that other is your worst enemy, right? Right? Okay. What do you wish for him? Let's say you were judge. What would you wish happened to him? Right? Let's say you were a butcher. Let's say, we're putting weed pudding to the extreme. You just raped your daughter and you're a butcher. What part of his body would you cut to that pedophile? We're putting to the extreme because we don't play with words at M3A. We don't front here. But let me tell you one thing. There is a pain. That's why I told you 3 types of pain. There is a pain, beloved, I wouldn't even wish. There is a pain I wouldn't even wish to my worst enemy. And there's 2 reasons why I'm doing evangelism. First reason I'm doing evangelism, because I'm jacked up, I'm messed up, and in spite of me, there was a God who loved me so much. He sent his son to die on that cross for me. First reason I'm doing evangelism. Second reason I'm doing evangelism. And let it be known to all the ministries, all the Adventists in the world, whether Father and Son movement or whether mainstream Adventism. Let it be known. There's two reasons I'm doing evangelism. Second reason I'm doing. First reason, I'm jacked up and messed up since I've never been ashamed or afraid to say it, since you have no heaven or hell to put me in. But there was a God who loved me enough. First reason. Second reason, I'm doing evangelism. That pain. There is a pain that I wouldn't even want none. Not even my worst enemy. I don't care what he has done to me. He may have raped my daughter, killed my mother. I don't want my enemy to feel that pain. Anything else, but I don't want him to feel that pain. So I have a duty, I have a responsibility to preach the gospel. Instead of sticking in sect with Adventism, I have to go. Jesus says, go. Matthew 28, go. Matthew 24:14, go. That's the only way that gospel would be preached unto all the world as this testimony, if you go. Romans 10:14, how can they believe him if you don't go? Revelation 14:6, and they're just in the midst of heaven having an everlasting gospel to preach unto all the world, not to all Adventists. If you have to go. There was one pain I wish not my enemy, my worst enemy. It doesn't matter how he has treated me. It doesn't matter the worst pain he has ever caused in my. I just don't want that pain for none of my enemies. John 12:27. John 12:27. Now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for this cause came I unto this hour. This is the man Jesus talking here. The man Jesus talking. The reason I said the man, because he's 100% man and 100% God. What shall I say? Father, deliver me for this hour? He's talking about he's going to Calvary. Listen, I'm going somewhere. He's going to Calvary. And he says, he's thinking about it. He says, I cannot bear this. This is too much for me. What can I say? Father, deliver me from this moment. But it is for this moment, that very same moment that I have come. Wait up. It's getting more detail. We are going to have more detail to the equation. Hebrew chapter 5, verse 7. Whom in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayer and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. Though he were a son, yet learned obedience by the things which he suffered. Christ, listen, Christ, he was a son, but yet he come before the Father with crying, big crying, Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. It would be crying and supplications. Revelation 4, chapter 14. Chapter 14, you're going to see something, and don't ever forget this, because maybe you read it and just like usual, you just read it real fast. 14 verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead head and in his hands. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. It's starting to be serious, huh? But wait, you haven't seen nothing. Wait! And shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. And you think this text refers to those who receive the mark? Wait a second. Well, yeah, of course it refers to it. But listen, beloved, this text there, this very text refers after. Of course, there are the 7 plagues that will fall. But when Jesus comes, the righteous are raptured. It's a public raptured and not a secret raptured. They're raptured up in the air, in the clouds in the air to meet Jesus in the air. But the glory of God, because Jesus is coming with all the glory of his Father. The glory of God consumed, because God is a consuming fire for sinners. That's why in the beginning I said, compare yourself with God, and not with others. Consume. And the wicked, when they see that glory, they hide and they tell the mountain, fall on us, rock, fall on us. But they end up dying in front of the Shekinah glory of the Lord. They can't bear that glory. They end up dying. But the Lord has to resurrect them for the final judgment. Listen! Listen! The Lord resurrect them, and the final judgment is pronounced. Fire comes from heaven and consume. Before that, there is like each one, I'm putting imagery there. There was like a TV for each one to watch their own life, because everything will be revealed to them. They will see. Every time they have rejected you, every time they have rejected advice, every time they reject a Bible study, every opportunity they had to learn that they rejected, they're going to see it. If they're lost, they're going to see that they are lost by their own reason, by their own fault, and then all knees will fall. All knees will fall and confess that Jesus is Lord of Lords. Righteous art thou for thy judgment. And that's when the final cleansing, the final purge, fire comes down from heaven and consume them. And consume them. Ezekiel 28. It says in the testimonies, listen, it says in the testimony, Satan had took over the control of the laboratory of nature. That means control the wind, the fire, and you can see that in the book of Job. So Satan will put a fire right in your house and stand in the midst of the fire itself, watching you burn while he's laughing to death. So you think fire can kill Satan? Seriously, you think fire can kill Lucifer? But wait a sec, Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28. This is an answer that even Pastor Stephen bore, not to put the brother down. I love what he's doing, but I also love his honesty. He says, I don't have an answer. Well, I did have the answer. Ezekiel 28. By the way, this happened in Alberta camp meeting. Ezekiel 28. He says, let me find it. Sorry. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuary by the multitude of thy iniquities, therefore I will bring. Okay, verse 18. Ezekiel 28, verse 18. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thy iniquities, by the multitude of thy iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore I will bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. Where does the fire come? This is not the fire that will come from above. The fire is going to come from the midst of thee. Just like read Act of the Apostle. This is the story of Herod. He was consumed by a fire from within. Satan will be consumed by a fire from within. And I will suggest you, the lusts of Satan will also be your lusts. A fire that will consume you from within. Beloved, from all the pains, I won't even wish this to my worst enemy. Kill my family, kill my daughter, kill my grandkids, kill. If I have to revenge, let God do the vengeance. Mine is the vengeance. Mine is retribution. But this is one thing I will not. I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't allow this to happen to my worst enemy. Even less to that person that I don't know of. I meet them on the street, acquaintance. Even, no. I gotta do evangelism. And what is at stake in the new world order, none of you is even aware of. Forget everything you know about the new world, all the books you have read about, even from the SDA's church. It's not to say I'm better, I know better than them. You gotta watch the series. You can't afford. If you can afford this thing to happen to what? You can bet your life that you're going to the same fire. That's a message to my present truth preacher, by the way. That's a message to the Father Son movement, by the way. I will not allow this to happen to my worst enemy. I'm gonna go preach, teach, and do practical thing using Jesus' method of evangelism. Jesus mingled among the people as one desiring their good. He won their confidence. He treated them as one who desiring their good. And after that, he bade them follow me. This is the only method that will bring true success. I'm sorry. I don't want to sit with the brethren. I'd rather spend my time with the lust, just like Mark Finley says. Beloved, 3 types of pain. Inflicted pain, the pain inflicted by others, and the last pain. The last pain. No man living, ever live, that will ever live, will have ever experienced. That's the pain I don't want to wish. Do you understand? You can sit idly, quietly, and when that thing is going to happen, and keep your mouth shut, playing business as usual, church as usual. I can't do that. I can't do that. What is at stake? They may laugh at me. They may call me a terrorist conspirations. They will call me whatever they want to call me. But at the end of the day, my work will be done, and I will be able to say, let thy blood fall back on you. I am guiltless. Guiltless. Beloved, it is serious. It is serious. I cannot let that pain, I cannot let that thing happen, not even to my worst enemy. That pain that Jesus, that we read on Hebrews 7, on John 12:27, is the cup that was not mixture, that was as that Jesus said to drink without mixture. And still, Revelation 14:9, the third angel message, there's still, even if this is the cup without indignation of God, there's still a little bit of mixture. But when the final judgment comes, purification by fire. No, I'm sorry. If you're gonna let this happen, I pray that maybe one of the members of your family will be in that fire, so you can know, so you can understand. Me, I will not let it happen. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do whatever I can to stop it and save, even if I have to save one. I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna go out there. Sometimes I don't feel like going out there. Sometimes I don't feel like pastoring. Sometimes I don't feel like ministering. But it's not about me. It's not about me, because I'm jacked up and messed up. And if there's a God willing to love me like this, I'm out to love the one He sent His Son to die and shed His blood for. So this is Brother GL. I'll see you tonight for the beginning of a series. A new world order broken down point by point, piece by piece, and a national Sunday law. God bless you all. Love you, Brother Lionel. I've been so long that I risk love me too. I know my name is clear before my Father. I am His child.